So this is going to be a DIYNate, you get the idea video. We don't record the whole project, but we record most of the components, the idea behind it, so you can get a pretty good feel for what was happening, how the video was shot. It's really to save time and effort on my part, and also if you really like the video, feel free to post a comment. We can always give you more details on how the project was filmed, but it should save some time on some of these videos where we have a lengthier project. All right, today in this DIYNate video, we're going to try and make some use out of some dead attic space. You can see how much space I have just on one part of our attic. We have plenty of other space and lots of stuff that's starting to pile up here, but with the insulation down, you really aren't making full use of your attic. So we're going to be spending some time back here. This is a fairly long project, so apologies for the length of this video, but we really should be able to get things going in just a few minutes here, and hopefully I can get this project underway. And here's another great shot of all this dead space. You can see just how much space is up here. Instead of renting a storage unit, you got plenty of space to be able to make something out of this. So we're going to lay some floorboards, put some stuff down, and you get a little background music with this one too, because I'm rocking and rolling while I do my work. Alright, even more, another view over here. All this space, we're going to be converting that and making it much more usable than it has been in the past. We kind of just left this whole probably 40-foot section blank for many years, and we're gonna get some use out of it. We're finally running out of space in our house. Really need to use this space. See, now I'm starting to lay down some boards here, just so it's a little easier on my feet as I start walking across here. It's a lot better and a lot less likely to put a hole through the drywall ceiling if you have some boards that you can stand on. So I've just laid those out, and I kind of went as far back as I can go. I'm going to start laying some flooring down in a few minutes here, see if I can patch up some of this and use the flat space for starters. Then we'll think about shelving in the future, but at this point, I've got so much flat space, I may not even need shelving. All right, next stage of the project, getting the lumber loaded up. Using a lot of 1/2-inch boards and some plywood. You can start to see how I'm planning to lay this out. I'm going to kind of walk across and work my way over to the far side over there, and kind of work my way from the wall back, kind of get the hard part done first. So that's what I'm up to, and moving along. Okay, so got a stack of wood now. Went to Home Depot, picked up a couple OSB sheets, about $9 a sheet. Cut them in thirds so that I could get them up in my attic, so about 32 inches each. So I've got some plywood now, or some OSB that I'm going to lay down on the floorboards in the back there and start really putting this project together. Also about to use one of my favorite tools, the Ryobi Airstrike Nailer. So we're going to get that going in just a second here as well. A lot of fun with that tool. Alright, so I skipped ahead a little bit and went ahead and started putting down these 32-inch pieces of plywood. Cut them in 32s to get them up in the attic, and that worked out well. It's about the space of two sets of 2x4s that run in the seams here, if they're spaced 16 inches apart. So right now you can see I've got 3 boards set. They run about 4 feet out, and so I'm just running a layer as far as I can go with the plywood, the OSB, and that's what I'm putting down right now. So and there's my Ryobi Airstrike Nailer. It's a lot of fun popping these nails in quickly. I've also slid the cables, electrical, back that way. One of the challenges of laying down wood like this is if you ever have an electrical issue, somebody's going to have to pull up that wood, which can be a pain. So try not to make it too complicated to get to if we ever need to pull any of that wiring out. All right, so after a day of working up here, putting some boards down, got some pretty good progress. Several boards put down. Really starting to feel like I've got space. Which amazingly, this whole attic was completely unused space. Now we're going to have quite the opportunity to put some stuff up here and store all sorts of stuff. So that should be great. Alright, so after doing this the hard way the first time, I decided to use the cut-up sheets from Home Depot. I actually got them to cut for me. Looks like they charge 25 cents per cut after the second cut. And so for $1.25 I had them cut it up so I could fit it in my Jeep. You can see small vehicle. Actually, the first time I put the whole sheets into my Suburban, had to lay the whole set of seats down in the Suburban, but in my Jeep I could fit a much smaller size. This is actually pretty convenient, should fit nicely with that 32-inch cut. So we'll check that out, but you can see 5 boards here, about $45, and we're on to the putting more of the boards down. All right, now I'm putting my Ryobi driver, one of my favorite tools, into work for me. I'm actually using a couple pilot holes that I drilled a second ago. I'm just going to take this very simple deck screw. I'm using this. I always like the way the deck screws go in. This is just a personal preference here. I'm going to get it started up here with my driver.
get myself some room. Now I've basically got a piece that's going to shim up against the board right here. That I'll have some extra flooring support. And I'm going to have to do this kind of carefully, just because it doesn't run all the way to the base of the floor. So I'm going to have to make sure it lines up nicely along the top here. You can kind of see how I've positioned that board, and then I'm going to sink it in here and make sure that I run all the way across, so I'll have something to anchor into. Alright, as you can see, I've shimmed up one of my boards here, and I've still got this part left to be done. A little awkward to hold this and show, but so by getting one side in, you can actually pivot off of it and make sure it's flat and level. And so really at this point I'm just going to sink this screw in here, and then I'm going to come back and do the same thing with this board, and I'll have something that I can tap into when I put the 32-inch 4-foot boards down over this. So that's what I'm doing here. The new storage space is working great. Able to put lots of luggage up here, and just taking up a small fraction of the space up here. And best part is that luggage was all sitting under my pool table, so now I don't have to deal with that, and it's a lot easier, a lot better storage up here, a lot easier to get to, a lot easier to actually just look at and know which suitcases you want to pick out. So that's pretty cool. So far the project's coming along very nicely. Alright, thanks a lot for watching the DIYNate video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.